Last time I spilled the tea on how to print these labels, now let me show you exactly how I designed them. Your girl loves a little brainstorm session, so I sketch out on paper how tall and wide I want my labels to be and map out my logo and all of my text before I even touch my computer. It just keeps me from getting overwhelmed. Once I'm ready, I hop on my girl Canva. You guys already know I use her for everything. Thank you cards, sample cards, custom tape, you name it. I set up a custom canvas at 4 inches by 2 inches and lay out the text exactly how I had it in my sketch. And if you're a technical thinker like me, it's a great idea to lay out all of your text first before you add any colors or any elements. And here you'll see that I add in borders and boxes to section off the text to make it look more clean. To really cater to the Shea Parlor brand, I pulled in the ice cream drips from my body butter labels. Then comes color. We're doing raspberry sorbet, so I chose this bold fuchsia color with a lighter pink accent, plus touches of white to brighten up the label. And of course I added in my little razzle dazzle. Once I'm happy with the design, I'll download it as a PNG, re-upload it, and resize and duplicate these labels across an 8.5 by 11 sheet so I can print multiple labels at once. I hope this makes sense, but if it doesn't, I can do a part 3, 4, 5. Like, we're gonna get this. I promise you we're gonna get this. And I repeat this process for every single scent that I have for my body oils. If you missed part 1, we talked about how I print and make these labels oil proof, so go check that out. Leave a little comment. If you're curious to see any more brand tips or tutorials, let me know. I got you.
Why is nobody talking about how easy it is to make labels in Canva? Okay, so I went to Walmart and I wanted to see what they had out there. I ended up going with these vinyl sticker paper and self-laminating sheets. Stick with me, y'all. Stick with me. So if you go on Canva, you will need the Canva Pro to do some of the things that I'm going to do. But if you type in label or product label, you will see that there is a plethora of labels. So if you do skincare, sis, they got labels for you already with the skin. If you sell food, sis, they got labels for you. Everything is customizable. Everything that you see here, you play around with the fonts. Everything looks good. You would just really make it your own. You can also buy the stickers if you want to, but I did not want to do that. So what I did was went to my mama's house and I used her LaserJet Pro and printed them out. And look at the finished product. Like, it's what? Link in bio, y'all.
Here's how you can create your own labels at home using Canva. First of all, I feel like people really don't talk about the cost of ink. I get upset every time I have to refill this, but I would say it definitely lasts a long time. So now that I have some ink to print in color, I got this sticker paper from Walmart. I usually get it from Amazon, but this time I needed it last minute. And then I created my product labels on Canva. When you're creating your product labels, you have to make sure you measure your jar to make sure that your label is not too big and also not too small. You want it to fit perfectly on your product. Once I've measured everything and I've created my label, I just go ahead and download it. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to go back into Canva and start a new sheet that's 8.5 by 11, the standard size for a regular piece of paper, and then take the label that I downloaded and upload it onto this sheet. Remember, I already measured it, so now that I have the size, I can adjust it and then add my other labels and print multiple labels on one sheet of paper. I normally use onlinelabels.com, but since this is a custom order and I need to print different kinds of labels, I'm doing it this way. If you use online labels, it'll print multiple of the same label on each sheet, but I don't need that many. This customer ordered fragrances that I no longer sell anymore, so this is why I'm doing it this way. I'm using my paper cutter to make it a lot quicker. Now that I have everything cut out and separated, I just removed the adhesive off of the back and add it onto my paper, and you see the size is perfect. Don't overthink it when it comes to creating your labels. I've gone through trial and error. My labels have looked very different. I may change them again and go back to what my labels used to look like, because I think I prefer those. And if you didn't know what the difference is between a body butter and a body cream, this is a body cream. It's made with water, and I use an immersion blender to blend the water and the oils, and the body butter is just made with like shea butter, cocoa butter, and sunflower oil. There is a difference. Body butters melt, body creams don't. But I hope this helps. If you have any other questions, just leave it below.
How to make labels part 3.
Okay, so I'm back with another one. This time we're going to be making labels for my body oils. So you're going to want to go to Canva and type in your dimensions. For this one, it's 5 by 1.7. Here I'm adding a border. I just feel like borders just make it look better for some reason. It just do. So go to elements, either click border or a line. I find that lines are easier. And you're going to want to add text to the top. For me, I like to add my business name at the top, and I find that when I space the letters out, it just looks better. So boom, you got that. Then you're gonna wanna start with the title. In my opinion, I feel like the title needs to be bigger than everything, so I know what I'm looking at. And sometimes you don't want that huge space in between the text, so you wanna click that line button and bring it all together. For some reason, cursive just got me in a headlock right now, so that's what I'm choosing. Center it out and try to add different text so it doesn't all look like one big old blob. That's what I found. I found that when you choose different text, everything just pops. So right here, you can see my business name, you can see the title, and you can also see that it says body oil. I'm gonna change that a little bit. It's all about playing around with it. You know, you gotta start off somewhere, but you always gotta just play with it and just, you know, tweak it to your liking. Don't forget to add your net weight to the bottom of this. I believe it's a requirement, so yeah, don't forget that. After you add your text, you want to add some color to it, and that's if you have a color printer. For this project, I'm going to be using my laser printer, so I'm going to add some color. You can go to elements and type in background and get that little background thing, and make sure you position it to the back. I couldn't find what I wanted, so I went to my labels that I already had and I added that background. And already, look at it. It just, the colors popping. Now, I'm not about to write out the ingredients. I'm just going to copy and paste it from my other labels. The bunny ear and the recycling, I got that from Google. You can go to Google and type in PNG, transparent background for whatever you need, and just add it to Canva. So here you have your label. I'm just tweaking the text to make it look right. I don't want that space on the sides, and you'll see why later. Once you're done, click download. Make sure it says PNG transparent background and download. Now you're gonna wanna go to avery.com and you're gonna wanna find the template that you want. In this case, the template number is 95662. Once you find your template, go ahead and upload your image that you want. And you're gonna see here, I'm gonna stretch it beyond the bleed marks because I'm printing it and I just like the way it looks. But if you're having Avery print it, you're gonna wanna go by their instructions because it'll look a mess. So once you got that down, you're gonna preview and print yourself, get PDF, and just type in some generic titles so you can find it later. Press OK, open PDF, and you're gonna print it. So for these labels, I went to onlinelabels.com and got the white gloss for laser printer sheets. And I just found that the white looks way better than the transparent on certain products. And by the way, I make all my labels and you can too. Like, share, and follow for more.
We tend to overcomplicate things that are actually very simple. I used to think that companies had this crazy long process on how they make their logos and labels, but it's very easy and I can show you how. So to put the actual label all together, we're going to be using our best friend, Canva. I'm making a label for a new product. All I did was create a new project, customize the size of the labels that I got from avery.com, and to be honest, just let my creativity flow. Of course, I'm keeping in mind the aesthetic of our brand and being very intentional with placement, colors, and visuals. I whipped this up within 30 to 45-ish minutes. Now we're saving the project and plugging it into avery.com. We had a lot of extra labels that coincidentally fit our new product, so we didn't have to order and wait for new labels to come in the mail. This is a Canon printer. It's not perfect for labels, but it definitely gets the job done. Now we're perfecting and cutting off the edges, finally placing the label onto the product. This isn't 100% finished result, but she is the first model of her kind. I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes moment. Stay tuned for the new product launch.